Hello, everyone. Welcome to another PundiCast hosted by Pundi AI. My name is Louisa, and I'll be your host today. I'm super excited to be sitting down with one of the standout projects from the first ever Pundi AI Pitch Fest. And for those who are not who are unfamiliar with, the AI Pitch Fest began earlier this year, and it was designed to empower and showcase AI-driven startups with the actual potential to transform industries. Over the course of 6 months, these teams worked tirelessly to refine their ideas, build prototypes, and pitch their solutions to a panel of experts, investors, and the wider community, the wider AI community. And today we have Louis, the founder of AI Square. Hi, Louis. It's been a little bit over a month since we met during Token 2049 in Dubai. So, how are you?
I'm good. A lot of stuff has happened. Token 2049 almost feels like it was last year.
I know, yeah. Absolutely. Good. Great to hear. And so today our chat will be 100% focused on AI Square, and we'll dive into what you're working on and what the journey has been like and what's coming next. So let's start. Let's start simple. Please tell us about AI Square. What's the story behind it?
All right. AI Square is a story that started 2 years ago. Um, we saw that there was a lot of, yeah, there was a massive wave when it concerned artificial intelligence, machine learning, and that wave was democratized by extremely powerful full tools like a ChatGPT and the other major LLMs out there. Um, we, myself and the rest of my team, we have a background that is a little bit more grounded in, I would say, traditional industries. So,
Hmm.
uh, for example, I spent a lot of time implementing new technologies in infrastructure, logistics, and even in military settings. And I realized that, okay, the breakthrough is absolutely amazing, but how are we going to make AI touch the real world? Because
Hmm.
for people who are digital natives and especially people who are Gen Zs or are really into the Web3 culture, they don't necessarily have that um, the same experience as someone who grew up before the internet and is
Hmm.
running a big business right now. These types of clients they use technologies like fax even today. It's still a very common tool in ports. You'd be surprised to
Hmm.
hear that. And if you're not fully digital, you can't take advantage of a chat GPT uh, the same way as someone that has all of their data stored in nice
Hmm.
databases where they have APIs and things like that. So we pondered on this question and we decided to found AI Squared to build tools to allow these more traditional industries to also benefit from all the innovations that come out of artificial intelligence. So
Yeah.
that's how it started.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing how a strong mission and vision can evolve into like a real product with real impact. And it's always very inspiring to hear how founders spot opportunities and take the leap to build something so bold like AI Square. So very exciting. Moving over, you just wrapped 6 months in Pundi's incubation program. How was the experience? How did the program help you?
So, yeah, yesterday I was actually writing the retrospective on behalf of the whole team and everyone who was involved in this project. Um, Essentially, I think it's better to look at where we were before the incubator. So, 6 months earlier, I would say, let's say December 2024. uh, we were still in a mode or a mood where we were chasing the very famous incubation programs like Pair VC or a Y Combinator.
Mm-hmm.
And for those programs, typically you need to give a certain amount of equity upfront, but you get the recognition of the program, and your seed round is virtually guaranteed after you graduate from the program. So we had a bias towards looking for these types of incubation programs, but we also thought that it wouldn't be strategic for us to give away that much equity so early on. And that's when we had the chance of meeting Pundi AI. So we didn't really know anything about this program at all. So we didn't have any expectations at the beginning. But over the course of the program, we learned some stuff that we didn't expect to learn at all. So for us, the biggest takeaway was on the communication and marketing side. I think it's always been an issue for me, particularly because I've always been in the tech industry. So marketing and communication wasn't really something that I really put too much attention into because
Mm-hmm.
there's this unspoken rule, which is uh, if if what you do is useful, then you don't really need to communicate it. But if it's not useful, you need to really
Mm-hmm.
do the marketing. So
Mm-hmm.
I always had that thought, and one of the members of the consortium on the Pundi side, Clarence, I would like to mention him specifically. He taught us, well, he showed us, they say show, don't tell. So he showed us the power a strong story can have on the marketing side. So always after interacting with Clarence and integrating his recommendations, we saw that the ROI on the marketing was a lot more than what we initially expected. So I'll give you this typical
Mm-hmm.
example that one of the team members said. It was like, yeah, the toughest part about doing a startup is that, yeah, you isolate yourself for 6 months and you do sprints nonstop to release an MVP. But once you release the MVP, it's really hard to capture the attention of anyone who would potentially use it. So we didn't make this mistake this time. I think it's because we were well surrounded by all the mentors and some of the internal stakeholders on the Pundi side as well. So we didn't make this mistake, and we started to build the story early on, all the way back from Consensus, where you invited us in February. Uh, so I had a chance to be a moderator there and also listen to the various perceptions around artificial intelligence through the lens of a Web3 ecosystem. I think that was very interesting for us. And I think after consensus, that's when we realized that we had um, two MVPs that didn't work out in our main product line. I also put it in the report. So I'll do a long story short. But last year, we started to discover our product market fit for our main product line. So what we call the industrial solver model. So
Mm-hmm.
technologies that are built for ports, airports, for them to extract value out of their current infrastructure without having to do it overall. Create technologies that are invisible enough so that they don't need to change their behaviors or introduce some change management because that doesn't work. So we had already started to explore that, but Um, we also had a research lab that has a mandate of identifying scalable use cases. So we created a competing MVP to our industrial solvers to see if this one would have more traction and more chances to grow rapidly. And it was extremely popular with the venture capital community, and people said they would use it. The problem is Zoom and Teams were already there, and if you work in a corporation, your company is going to give you, the tools for how you communicate internally
Mm-hmm.
and externally. And if in your calendar invite it's a Google Meets or a Zoom, you're just going to use that. You're not going to make an active effort to go and change the tool that you use for
Mm-hmm.
online meetings, even though it had a lot of, it had a very unique value proposition because it was about compressing the time necessary to take a meeting. So we discontinued that, and we had another piece that we had explored in the trading, high frequency trading sector. This one worked out, but we also didn't pursue it because the industrial solver product line was by far the most popular product that allowed us to generate revenue consistently. But yeah, to go back to after consensus, we realized that the trading and the video conference technologies could be combined in at the beginning. We were like, okay, let's look at the big picture and add all of the features together. But then some of the other mentors recommended that in the interest of really capturing attention spans and maximizing that, we should simplify it as much as possible, make it binary in some way for people who want just to have a quick interaction, but also add some depth where communities can form organically around particular topics in the Web3 ecosystem. So we did that. And at Token 2049, we had the chance to demo it for the first time to a public that was very Web3 focused. They were looking for, new exciting projects, and even some communities wanted to explore how they could use that just for fun. So we used uh, that new wave of users. Sometimes we peaked at 400 users. For MVP that's not released, and for a company that's not really focused on the crypto space or Web3, we thought that we were pretty proud to see that people found a value there. And yeah, we integrated all of that feedback as well. We made it more frictionless, more anonymous, and we demoed it at the Generative Beings event in Singapore exactly a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you. That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing your experience. So now let's talk product. I wanted to ask you to showcase a demo of your product and to show what you have built exactly and how it works. So if you can please just walk us through.
Okay, so would you like me to focus on the Alpha Square, the MVP that we produce as part of the incubator, or do you mind if I
You
show?
choose. You
Oh, right.
choose. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me share my screen, and we will be able to see. All right. You should be able to see my screen.
Yeah.
So,
It's fine. Perfect.
so yeah, this is our main product line. So, just to reintroduce ourselves again, we yeah, we took a bold move when it comes to artificial intelligence. Of course, we were absolutely mind blown by what LLMs have been able to accomplish and the impact they have on the on us just as human beings. I think that a lot of people trust LLMs with some secrets they wouldn't necessarily share with their own families. So it's a very interesting era where you know uh, artificial intelligence is accessible enough for us to develop a personal relationship with it. And it also means that it has a tremendous amount of power on us
Yeah.
collectively. So we took a bold move. We thought that, okay, the LLM space is very saturated. So why don't we explore if we can't find a different kind of intelligence? And we decided to focus on space. What I mean by that is physical space. So an AI model that can conceptualize the world in 3D, just like you and me, and solve some problems in that space. So, in ChatGPT, when you're texting or you're chatting with the chatbot, whatever you wrote and whatever the AI answered is what they call the context window that the AI uses to produce newer answers. And our take is that a space, let's say you have a factory or airport, once it's you can give it some CAD plans, some pictures, some video feeds, it's going to reconstruct it the best it can, and once it's been reconstructed, that is the context window. You can then ask it, okay, I want to build a 10-story building here, and it's going to generate a design that the construction company can actually build right now. um, and you can also plug in your IoT sensors. So if you have a big site like an airport, a data center, or a manufacturing plant, you can plug that in, and the model will continuously give you recommendation of how you can extract more value from the infrastructure that you have. And our
Mm.
biggest value proposition is that this is from the edge to the cloud. So all the contribution that our customers put into the platform becomes their own intellectual property. So I think this is a message that resonated very strongly with the crowd at Super AI, because the stance that the market leaders have is that it is a black box. So whatever you put into it might be used for potentially training better versions in the future, which isn't necessarily
Mm.
compatible with corporations who don't want uh, their intelligence to benefit potentially their competitors. So that
Mhm.
is what we are pushing to the market right now. So it still has a work in progress name, but we call it PSO AI for now, for plan, simulate, and operate. So this is our main product line, and we have our YouTube video that we released to introduce exactly what we're doing. And since the version of me in the video doesn't have a cold, I'm sure he will do a better job explaining it. So
You're
if you
doing
don't
great.
mind
You're
sharing the
doing
link to
great.
the video, that will be good. But like I mentioned, uh, we started as a research lab. We didn't want to uh, go all in, let's say, okay, we're going to do AI for the legal sector. We thought that that was too risky because uh, some of the behaviors or some of the business models that run those sectors are actually, we found out that they're not necessarily compatible with the AI economy. I'll give you an example. We used to have a very big client in the legal sector who wanted to do speech to text for legal audio recordings of real court sessions. And the challenge is the people who used to do it manually are paid by the hour. So if your employer gives you a tool that allows you to do it 20 times faster, you're actually getting less paid. So uh, at the beginning, there was a lot of excitement, But once that hard line was discovered, adoption dwindled. So that was one of the very first case that we had, and we were like, okay, it's too early to put all of our eggs into a single bag. So we'll continue to explore those scalable use cases. And when it came to Pundi, we released what we now call Alpha Square. So it's a combination of this teleconferencing and high frequency trading platform that I talked about earlier. And the whole concept is actually a question. So if you're in the Web3 ecosystem, or even if you're a regular day trader, a retail trader, um, you will be very familiar with tools that you can Google that give you a sentiment analysis, or some APIs that give you scores on various symbols. Um, and we asked the question, okay, these, how is this quantized? Is it words that they pick from news articles? But some news articles might also be biased to tell the story a certain way. So we thought that, okay, why don't we try an experiment to see if we can capture what people believe in just by listening to them. And this is the whole premise of this MVP. So essentially, we sorry. Essentially, we wanted to create a very big tool that had all the features that the original two MVPs had, but we simplified it for a couple of reasons. But I'll get to that a little bit later. The I'll talk about the shape first. So we thought that, okay, we're new to the space. It's We're going to be developing this for almost 6 months. So we need to make sure that the end user has zero reason not to decide to at least give it a try. So we decided that it would take the shape of a Chrome extension. So you just install the Chrome extension, and I can just open my own Chrome extension here. You'll see Alpha Square. So
Mm-hmm.
the philosophy of the tool is that you can browse any website. So you can be on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it, uh, your favorite crypto community, and the um, the tool will essentially uh, discover any symbol that it finds on the web page. So you see those purpley highlighted symbols. So the extension is detecting that it's a token. Uh, and the first layer is, let's say you don't really want to engage with the community, or you just want to try it out. We have this simple upvote or downvote mechanism. So this is very similar to everything that's on the market, but the goal for us was to keep it familiar as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then the second layer, and this is where it's interesting, is that you can click on the symbol, and it's going to take you to another video chat where they are. I think that, yeah, right now I'm in the Solana one, so there's no one in this channel, but it's going to give me automatic generated username. So I'm a fat ant today. And yeah, as you're discussing here, I think this is blocking my view, but yeah, as I'm discussing here, we have a use case that uses Gemini Nano directly into Google Chrome. So it's a very small AI model that is able to transcribe everything that people are saying. So remember early on when I mentioned we wanted to capture the sentiment of the people by just having a conversation, because it's not just
Mm-hmm.
what you say, it's how you say it. and how flexible you are towards other signals members in the community might have. So everything I'm saying right now is being transcribed in real time by my machine. So there's no server cost. It's completely decentralized. And as soon as yeah, I'm having conversations. So I think it's every 1 hour. Uh, we have a centralized unit. So this one is in the cloud that's going to compile all of the transcripts that are happening in all the chat rooms at the same time. And based on that, we calculate a score for how confident people feel about a particular symbol. So it's super simple. And we also have the other part with the upvote and downvote. So these are correlated as well, so that we have qualitative and quantitative
Hmm.
insights to output a score. So the next thing that's happening is, well, maybe I'll just close this. Uh, it's going to be easier. Yeah. So the next thing that is happening is that part of the challenge of doing this, and I think this is really connected to the sovereignty idea I was talking about earlier. Um, so once the insight have been quantized, both the transcript and the quantized score are then outputted on the Pundi Omni layer. So the purpose of doing this is that in the future, other developers or other teams might want to get that uh, data that has absolutely 100% integrity because it's just people having conversations. We don't record a video. It's just the the text of your conversation is tied to a random username, is just used to see how yeah, see how communities, at the scale of communities, how people feel, what they're anxious about, what angle they're looking things from. And yeah, that data is going to be completely available, I think, on the Pundi network every 12 hours that we send a batch, because there are some gas fees associated with that.
Hmm.
So the next thing we want to be able to do, it's not in the tool yet, is to have the ability to for people to use that signal to make a trade, and we would be collecting a fee if you trade from within the tool, so to speak. So that was one of the things we didn't have time to implement, but we're still discussing with the Pundi AI team in Singapore to see how we can push it quickly. So far, to give an incentive to people who might be interested in using a tool like this personally, or to meet new people, or at the scale of their own communities. Because uh, like I mentioned, the data is going to be accessible on the Pundi network. Um, is that we have a point system where, based on how many interactions you have with, upvoting or downvoting, as well as how much time you spend contributing on those chat rooms, you get some points, so that in the future, if there are some interesting things happening, those points might be convertible towards something more tangible. But so far, it's completely free. So if you're using it, you
Nice.
might be earning something that could be valuable in the future. Just to clarify, so this tool is going to be made into its own venture, because one of the things we learned at Pundi as well is that, yeah, when you're running experiments like this, sometimes they're not necessarily compatible with the communication style that is required for your other product line. So, for example, the industrial solvers, we serve very conservative industries uh, that are, they might know what a Bitcoin is, but it's yeah, they're more focused towards very tangible things in the real world. Um, and the yeah, the communication style we have when we want to reach those users is not really compatible with how we want to reach people who want to use a tool like Alpha Square. So we're going to make it into its own venture, and we will have a team of people who are really good at running Web3 ventures. Push it forward.
Wow, amazing! You have such an incredible project, and I can wait to see what you guys are doing next.
Thank you.
Um, so to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, what's one feature that you are particularly very proud about your system? Just choose one.
One,
Just one. Yeah, that you're
um,
personally very proud.
yeah. So I think this one really hit home. Um, this was even before we got the chance of meeting Pundi. Uh, we had a problem a lot of startups have, is that we ran out of cloud credits because we were experimenting with yeah, new technologies, and especially in AI. Even if you have $200,000 worth of credit, it's surprisingly easy to just burn them very
Yeah.
quickly. So yeah, if you're building something real, those credits will go away very quickly. And at some point, the remaining credits had been allocated to our breadwinner, so the industrial solvers. Um, and that is also part of the reason why our teleconferencing tool was discontinued, because it relied on the cloud a lot. And we realized that, hey, you know what? We could make this completely decentralized. And if we are able to run a small language model directly in the browser, then technically every user is an active node, and we can completely bypass uh, a cloud service companies to run an experiment like this at that scale. Um, so this is what we were able to do. I think we were one of the very first startups that integrated Gemini Nano into an actual use case. And the earlier version was used by legal firms, was used by consulting firms as well. We sold them to service sector companies, and it ran beautifully, completely decentralized. And it's only after Pundi did we realize that the decentralized can have a lot more depth, not just how distributed the data is collected, but how it can be stored and used for very different purposes later on. And I'm very convinced that people will notice this. Uh, the reason I'm saying this is because, yeah, I also have a hobby of uh, being a retail trader, using the tools that my company has made that allowed
Mm-hmm.
me to get into this sector as well. But I mostly trade CFDs and things like that. And when I started to pick up the hobby, um, I also started to look at sentiment analysis platforms, and it really depends who you ask. If you look at the sentiment analysis from
Mm-hmm.
American firms in Wall Street, they might tell you that everything is very green until it's red. So uh, the so So yeah, I met this gentleman here in Tokyo who was a very seasoned trader, and he had this perspective that it's not possible to trust sentiment analysis because it's based on information that has already been released. And if the
Mhm.
information has already been released, it means that people who would benefit more from the trade have already made their moves. So he says the price is always right. So the goal of this project was to challenge this perspective as well, because um, this is a tool about essentially digitalizing your gut feeling based on information that might be out there but hasn't been released yet. And when we compare the various scores from popular sentiment analysis platforms, both in camera went off. Okay, yeah, both in Web 2 and Web 3, we realized that the scores are very different, very very different.
Great. Thank you so much. So I think that's all we have for today. And so huge thanks to you for joining us and sharing your journey. It's been a pleasure to talk to you once again. And I can say on behalf of our team here that we're so very hyped to see where you guys go from here. And to everyone else watching, if you're curious to learn more about or want to get involved, be sure to check their website and their socials, and also keep up with our socials to see to stay tuned for more spotlights from Pundi AI Pitch Fest. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And if you're a startup, I highly recommend you give it a try. Maybe my last few words on this topic, I put it in the report, but we're walking out of this program. We with a fresh perspective on what it means to have a communication or a marketing initiative in house. We got invited to some events that we would have naturally wanted to go, but if you're bootstrapping, maybe you're not going to release the funds to send your team there. But we had a chance to go there. We saw how important it is, uh, particularly. Well, it's hard to say, but I would say my ranking was definitely Super AI, Token 2049, and a consensus. Um, you meet a lot of people. For us, on the last day of Super AI, a large family office came to our booth, and they just booked 10% of our round. Uh, so um, yeah, we got so much out of the program. Um, Sales, like we got a brand new airport customer in
Hmm.
a neighbor country of Singapore that I can't mention at the moment. But yeah, we got some sales, we got some investments. We know how to tell a story and to um, get people's attention as well. Because our video reached 50,000 views a, on a brand new YouTube channel that had a
That's
max
huge.
score of a 10 or 60 views for a video that we would produce previously. So, yeah, we learned so much, and it opened our minds to many things, including the whole Web3 ecosystem. So, I would
Amazing.
recommend to take a look, and it is really good.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy with this, with your feedback. And all right, that's all we have for today. You have a
All right.
great one.